Welcome in, everyone, to the Football Addicts Anonymous podcast. Jubilant to have Chris back. Not doing stuff like I have for the last couple. But we're cracking a beer on a Monday afternoon in Milwaukee because it's a great day. End of semester 1 of law school, y'all.
Cheers to you, my friend.
So it's a great time. We're going to have fun tonight and get ready for the next one. So good weekend of football. So, a lot of blowouts in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's that I didn't like. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. Most fantasy leagues this is the last week of the regular season, so and I beat you twice, once in each league. That was cool.
Well, I actually haven't checked the that game, but wasn't I projected to win
On our NFL one?
In our dynasty league? Last I checked yesterday, I was projected to win.
No, I don't think so.
Oh no, now I'm not. I don't know what happened, but hey, I still got AJ Green and Zach Ertz tonight.
Yeah,
I mean, you got
I have
Conner,
James Conner. And Edmonds didn't get activated off the COVID list or off IR, so he is not playing, thankfully. But yeah, let's start it off. College football, the only FBS game was a shocker to many. Mark's branch got it done, though. Navy beat Army 17-13 at MetLife Stadium. And I didn't understand what Army was doing after their first drive, because there was a lot of Tyre Tyler at quarterback, and it made no sense to me when Christian Anderson looked so good on the first drive. And he's clearly the better passer of the two quarterbacks that Army has. So made no sense to me anyways. But yeah, Ty Lavatai, tough kid, man. He was getting lit up almost every time he ran the ball. But I was disappointed. I had Army -7. That didn't even get close. And then I took the over live, over 36.5 or 35.5, one of those two, thinking that they scored 20 in the first half. At least 20 should be scored in the second half. And the thing is, Army screwed it up for everyone, because Army had 2 drives that ended in field goals that essentially they should have converted for touchdowns. So my beef with Army with this game.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I saw brief highlights, and yeah, it just looked like Army was all over the place on Saturday. They couldn't get anything right, pretty much.
Yeah, and they couldn't get key stops on defense when they needed it to, especially on a fake punt by my defensive player of the game, Diego Fago, who is every Navy game we've had, always on here. Great player. His last game for the Naval Academy, 9 tackles, 2 solos, 2 QB hurries, and a carry for 4 yards on that fake punt, where he stiff-armed a guy and then jumped over another guy to get the 4 yards, because otherwise he would have been stopped short. And he said in his post-game interview, he didn't even know it was a fake. He said the long snapper just snapped it to him, and he just started running. So, but yeah, it was weird. Really, neither offense was that great. It's just Navy scored enough points. So, and I wouldn't have been able to get to watch this game. I was going to be at the Marquette basketball game against UCLA, but then UCLA had plane troubles, so they had to move it back to a 8:30 Central Time tip-off instead of a 1:30 Central Time tip-off. So I could not go to that game and instead watched college football. Anyways, Navy +7, under 35.5. That's now 16 straight unders in this series. 16 straight.
Mm-hmm.
All right, FCS quarterfinals here. Number 2 JMU beating up on number 5 Montana, 28-6 on Friday night. I was listening to this game. It was a good game. Again, I kind of panned out how I expected. Cole Johnson, integral part of the game, throwing the ball. But Latrell Palmer dominant on the ground as well, 8.8 yards per carry and a touchdown. So,
yeah, this game pretty much went as I was expecting it to go. James Madison, like I said, they were the number 1 team in the spring, and number 2 here, but they're still one of the best. And I don't know. I think they have a solid shot at least getting to the championship, but winning it, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get through the quarterfinal games here. But Montana's quarterback, Cameron Humphrey, he got hurt. That's why Robbie Patterson is on here as well. The other quarterback did not fare well at all. JMU defense held up nicely. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Ravenel and Chris Thornton. Nice games there, 80 yards apiece and a touchdown each. And then from safety Wayne Davis and corner Jordan Swan. And then Saturday Dome, number 3 North Dakota State, romping number 9 ETSU, 27-3. Not a lot of stats on here because it was a kind of boring game. There wasn't many fireworks. It was North Dakota State running the ball a lot, and then just driving down, and it was really demoralizing for ETSU. And for me, I was disappointed. I had ETSU plus 23.5 because I took them early in the week. I took them like Wednesday, I think. And the line eventually moved to 25.5 at kickoff. We have it as 25 on the script.
Yeah.
I was just mad because I would have covered had I hit the 25 instead of the 23.5 that it opened at.
Yeah, but I would have thought that 23.5 would have been good enough anyway.
Yeah, yep, I thought so in a quarterfinal game. Montana covered 23.5 against James Madison. But the North Dakota State defense was outstanding all day. Tyler Rydell was getting hit a lot, and they didn't have any answers for the pressure and the blitz packages that the NDSU defense was bringing. So, and the biggest story I think was that they shut down one of the best rushing attacks in the country in Quay Holmes. And the other back that they have there at ETSU is always love when my phone doesn't load and I have 1 bar of service. Sailors. Jacob Sailors is the other running back that they have at ETSU. First ever 2 1,000-yard backs in ETSU history. First season ever having 2 1,000-yard backs.
Nice.
So really shut them down. And Cam Miller did just enough to get it done.
Yeah. I was going to say, it seems like there's kind of a theme, at least in the first few games that we've gone over, that the quarterback position really did not perform well in really any of these games. Although, I mean, maybe in the James Madison game, a little bit better than the other 2 games we've gone over so far. But yeah, this game, both quarterbacks in the 50% completion range. That's terrible. But no, I do love seeing a fullback on the stat sheet there, though. I love seeing some fullback love.
Yeah, Lukey's a beast, man. He is just something else. Massive guy and runs all over everyone. But that's the matchup. That is the first matchup of the one side of the bracket in the semis next weekend. It is James Madison at North Dakota State because NDSU is the higher seed in that side of the bracket. So,
and I think whoever wins that one is going to win the championship.
I concur. But there are 2 other teams on the other side of the bracket. So, finishing this game off, safety Michael Tootsie for the Bison with the interception off of Tyler Rydell. And ETSU did cover, like I said, the closing line, plus 25 and under 50.5. It's funny because this side of the bracket, we hit unders. The other side of the bracket, we hit overs. There's a lot of points on the other side.
Way
over. So let's start. Number 11, South Dakota State continuing their underdog run through the FCS playoffs, beating number 6 Villanova 35-21 in Philadelphia, or close enough to Philadelphia. Villanova is right there. Or I guess it is Philadelphia. Villanova Stadium in Philadelphia. But yeah, this one had a lot of fireworks. It was scary early for South Dakota State. I will say that I did not expect Daniel Smith to come out slinging the rock like he did. He had 2 long touchdown throws early on, one 36 yards and one 55 yards in the first half. And Villanova was up 21-14 at halftime. And then it was 21 unanswered in the second half by South Dakota State. Really great defense. And Isaiah Davis is a monster. Pierre Strong got hurt in this game in the first quarter, and Isaiah Davis took it upon himself to carry the load the rest of the way. So no rushing game for Villanova, though.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was looking at because I noticed Daniel Smith, he had 3 total touchdowns. They only scored 3 total touchdowns. So the rush game, obviously, Jalen Jackson there for Villanova is the only running back on the stat sheet here. 6 for 23 yards. The average is decent, but still 23 yards, that's not going to win you anything.
Yeah, they did run for a total of 107 yards, but Daniel Smith had 44. So Jackson Yankee and Rajon Pringle for South Dakota State and Villanova, both great games. Both, weirdly enough, the exact same yardage, 119 yards. Yankee with 6 receptions, Pringle with 5, and Yankee scored twice, Pringle once. Interceptions, Villanova defensive back Elijah Glover and South Dakota State safety Michael Griffin II. But yeah, the Jacks, they're going. They're the only unseeded team left still, and they continue to roll through here with the underdog mentality. So it's nice to see them.
They were the favorite in this one, though, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah, they've been the favorite on the roads. But the thing is, if they're unseeded, so they have to go on the road to win the championship.
Yeah. It's just funny, though, to see a number 11 being the favorite in these games and all that.
Well, that's just the the last stats performance poll that was put out for the playoffs, and I've just kept the rankings attached to the teams because they don't put out another poll the rest of the playoffs. So the coaches do. The coaches put out new polls, but I just don't follow the coaches poll. I think the AP puts out the FCS one too, but I follow the stats performance poll. So, but yeah, South Dakota State, like I said, the last unseeded team to go through, and they've been the last unseeded team. They were the last unseeded team in the quarterfinals. There hasn't been another unseeded team since the second round. So, South Dakota State covered -7 over 46.5. All right, let's get to the craziest upset. I think even including NFL, I think this was the biggest upset of the entire weekend of football.
Oh yeah.
And it was a big one too. Number 7 Montana State crushing number 1 Sam Houston State. The champs are down, and there will be a new FCS national champion this fall. 42-19 at Sam Houston State. Eric Schmid 3 picks in the game. Tommy Millott scoring 5 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing, and 1 receiving.
Doing it all.
Crazy game from him. And he only had to throw it 11 times. That's the craziest part, I think. But they have stuck with what they're doing, what has gotten them here, and that is Isaiah Ifanse. And that sets it up. That makes it 4. All 4 teams now going into the semifinals have really strong running games. I think the best quarterback left is Cole Johnson with JMU. Because I think the other 3 teams want to run the ball a lot and limit the amount of times they're throwing the ball. So it'll be interesting to watch, especially South Dakota State, Montana State, where you have Ifanse versus Isaiah Davis. Hopefully Pierre Strong can play. I don't know if he is going to play or not. So. Ife Adeyi, great game in a losing effort. 9 receptions, 184 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Biggest thing for Sam Houston, they, like many of the other losing teams, no rushing game, really. I mean, you look at Noah Smith's average at 5.7 yards per carry, but it's only 34 yards. He only touched 9 total times with his 3 receptions included. So not a lot of rushing game to speak of. Eric Schmid had to do it. I mean, the Bearcats were down 21-0 real quick. It was 28-0. Yeah, 14-0 after the first quarter. I mean, they scored. Montana State scored twice in a matter of a minute, essentially, in the first quarter. And then they put up 2 more touchdowns before Schmid finally got them on the board with under 1.5 to go in the second quarter. And then they did make it a game. It was 28-12 early in the third. And then, the issue is that the 2 touchdowns that Sam Houston scored in the second half, Montana State answered with touchdowns of their own. So, and Sam Houston also missed 2 2-point conversions on their first 2 touchdowns. So,
yeah, I kind of figured that, being that they had 19.
Yeah. Willie Patterson, also interesting game. 1 reception, 31 yards, and a touchdown. 2 carries, 9 yards, and he threw that 4-yard touchdown to Tommy Millott. This was the only game I didn't get to watch because it was at night and I was working. and I didn't listen to it. I was listening to hockey instead, but saw the score and I was like, holy crap. Thankfully I didn't watch it because terrible game. Interceptions for the Bobcats, though, safety Jeffrey Manning Jr., defensive back Trey Webb, and corner Simeon Woodard. Montana State plus 9.5, massive underdog there.
Mm-hmm.
And over 48.5.
Almost by themselves.
Yeah. So now, before we get to the NFL, now we can talk about, what we think. We got James Madison, North Dakota State facing off at the Fargo Dome next weekend. Mm-hmm. And then you got South Dakota State at Montana State. The JMU, North Dakota State, that's on Friday. South Dakota State, Montana State, that's on Saturday. So who do you think, Chris? Who do you think is going to make the championship there?
I don't know. I feel like the first game's a lot harder to pick than the second game. Mm-hmm. I think I'm rolling with South Dakota State in the second game, but I don't know. The first one's a lot harder. I think that game, the JMU versus North Dakota State, that game I think will be better than the championship game, no matter who is in the championship game. That's just my kind of I don't want to say bold, but that's kind of my prediction, is that the semifinal game between those two will be better than the championship game. But yeah, I'm going to roll with North Dakota State only because I would like to see the championship be between the Dakotas.
Yeah, I am hesitant to just roll South Dakota State in because of what Montana State just did to Sam Houston. And Sam Houston, the thing about that game is that their defense had been pretty good. I mean, they had let up some points. They let up 35 to Central Arkansas, 27 to Tarleton State, 28 to Eastern Kentucky, and then back-to-back weeks giving up 40s and 42 points. They gave up to Incarnate Word in the second round and 42 this week. So, I don't know. I thought that was a really good performance from Montana State offensively. Can they do it again? Who knows? But I think it's troubling with how Villanova was able to kind of spread South Dakota State out in the first half and throw the ball with efficiency and downfield. So I think being at Montana State, it's a little bit tougher. Mm-hmm. Do we have the lines? Let me see if they have the lines out for these games yet. I don't think they do. It's only Monday, so no, they don't. So don't know who's favored yet. We will have one other game to pick that I'm going to make us pick, even though it's kind of a formality, because the Celebration Bowl is also next Saturday. South Carolina State and Jackson State. So, but yeah, I think both games are going to be good. I actually think that Montana State has a chance. And if South Dakota State can continue to run the ball, they'll be just fine. But if they can't, and Chris Oladokin has to throw the ball a lot, I don't think they can keep up with Tommy Mellott and Isaiah Ifanse, Lance McCutcheon, and company.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree, but I don't think that Montana State's going to be able to stop the South Dakota State run game.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to look up on the fly here. Wondering about Mark Gronowski. You know, he hurt his leg in the championship game. And that was what, March?
Yeah, something like that.
Or May. May? Was that in May?
I thought it was earlier than that.
Oh, this article is from May, but well, he tweeted out May 16th that that God has a plan. He'll be back better than ever. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering, if they continue to go, if he has a chance to return this year or not, which originally I thought no was the answer. But now that they've made the semifinals, possibly making the championship in January, who knows? I don't know. But the other game, though, JMU, North Dakota State, very similar teams. I think I'm rolling with JMU. This is the year for them. I think, they got knocked out in the semis in the spring. And they're going to have to go to the Fargo Dome, which is tough. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I think they have the best quarterback left of the four teams. And if Latrell Palmer can continue to run the ball, I think they'll be able to throw the ball. And I think their defense is good enough that they can limit the North Dakota State run game. Because you're not going to stop the North Dakota State run game.
No.
With all the guys, they run like 4 deep at the running back position for NU. So my pick, even though we'll do picks on Friday, preliminarily I am going JMU versus Montana State. I love South Dakota State, but I think I'm really a big fan of Isaiah Fonse. So it'll probably change. I'll probably pick South Dakota State on Friday. But anyways, let's get into NFL. Falcons beating the Panthers 29-21. We all picked the Panthers. That was a good time.
Yep.
Cam's costly fumble late. Really what hurt him. PJ Walker almost brought him back though. Throwing the touchdown to Robbie Anderson, who had his best game of the season, which was amazing to see on my bench in fantasy. 21 points.
He's still somehow having that issue. I don't know if it's because I didn't watch this game, but I don't know if it's drops or I don't know if it's the ball just going way over his head or something. But he was targeted 12 times, but he only caught 7. So I don't know what that issue is, but that seems to be an issue that's always been with him.
If I can remember correctly, I think he only dropped 1. When you play with Cam, it's sometimes tough to catch the ball because it's not on target all the time. And I think a couple of them, PJ threw to him weren't very good balls either. So, but yeah, and what I can remember from the game was that I only remember him dropping it once. So, but yeah, the thing is, this game never felt like the Falcons should have won. It really didn't, because the Panthers defense played well. It was just the fact that the offense was giving the Falcons short fields and they were converting. So, as you can see, Cordell Patterson, not that great of a game, 3.6 yards per carry. The issue is the Matt Rule keeps saying the same stuff every week, and it's not happening. He keeps saying, we're going to commit to the run. We're going to commit to the run. And then, Chuba isn't doing that well, which can be expected being a rookie as a running back, having to carry the full load with an Amir Abdullah carry every once in a while. But I have an issue with the fact that they keep pulling Cam. Like, if you're going to commit to the run, you can't keep pulling Cam out regardless of him turning the ball over. I don't think PJ Walker is better than Cam, and he's definitely not a better runner than Cam. And that's what they mentioned on the broadcast too. They're like, they pulled Cam and then they ran a freaking like read option with PJ Walker. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? You can't call that with PJ in the game. So it just doesn't make sense with what they did and how they went about their offensive game plan in this game. So
yeah, I mean, like you said, though, they say that they're going to commit to the run. And I mean, I know not everybody's stats are on here, but they only have 20 rushes on this stat sheet here, 10 by Cam and 10 by Chuba. And the other thing that kind of stands out to me too, I mean, I know not every running back is a dual threat running back, but Chuba Hubbard didn't have any catches either, which is a big part of the Panthers game because of Christian McCaffrey. So again, I feel like McCaffrey being out is a big deal for the Panthers.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Panthers only ran, let's see. They had 91 rushing yards, 26 carries, 91 yards, 3.5 yards per carry. Good thing, though, they converted all 3 of their red zone trips to touchdowns. Falcons only converted half of theirs to touchdowns. So, like I said, the defense is playing well enough to get wins. The offense is just not helping them. And defensively, I have to go. I'm going to go with Dante Fowler, more than likely, here for the Falcons. 3 tackles, 3 solos, a sack, 3 tackles lost, and a QB hit. And I will mention Michael Walker with his 66-yard pick 6 off of Cam, also chipped in a pass deflection, but he didn't have any tackles, so I can't put him as the defensive player of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, I love seeing when there's one stat, specifically tackles, padded up like some of the Carolina players have, but again, they're on Carolina, they're for the losing team, so I can't really say that they're the defensive players of the game either.
AJ Terrell had a nice game too. He was covering DJ Moore most of the game.
Wait, who's considered the Panthers' number 1 receiver? Is it Moore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, weirdly enough, him and Raleigh both had 84 yards too. Falcons plus 2.5 over 41.5. Falcons now in that 5-team scrum at 6 and 7. Browns. I told you the Browns would win. 24-22 over the Ravens. Not as close as the final score.
Hey, I was gonna say, you can't even say that this was because Lamar got hurt, because they did better once Lamar got hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler Huntley had a nice game coming off the bench. He really showed something, especially throwing the ball, 70% completion, 270, 1 touchdown that got it to within the 2 points. Issue was turned the ball over twice, fumbled. Once was massive in the red zone. They were driving, and I thought they were going to score on that drive, but then he fumbled it away. And I got mad because I live bet the Ravens plus 7.5 when they were down. And I was like, come on, dude. I need that touchdown. But luckily the Browns got the win anyways, and kept the AFC North close, man. which we'll talk about what happened with the Bengals. The Steelers lost on Thursday. But having the Browns win is a win for the Steelers too. The Steelers are only a game and a half back. So,
yeah, and I mean the Browns did try to give this game away though, because the Ravens, I believe that was this game that the Ravens got the onside kick at the end of the game, right? And then they just stalled out and turned it over on downs. But yeah, the Browns tried to give them the win.
Yeah. Crazy. They got an onside kick. There's a couple of games that got onside kicks this week. The Falcons didn't though. Luckily, they didn't have to. But again, though, the Ravens contained Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt got injured in this game. I don't know if that's when the Browns struggle, when Kareem Hunt is not playing. It seems like it. It seems like when Nick Chubb's not playing, Kareem Hunt flourishes. But when Kareem Hunt's not playing, it seems like Nick Chubb doesn't do that well. Or is it just the Ravens? I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm going to need a big performance out of him next week.
Who, Kareem or Nick Chubb?
No, Nick Chubb in our Dynasty League.
He's got a good matchup. Mark Andrews, great game once again. 11 receptions, 115 yards and a touchdown. I was very happy Rashad Bateman came through in the second half. He was at 0 points at halftime. And then Tyler Huntley started slinging the rock. And Bateman targeted heavily down the stretch, 7 for 1 for 3. Very happy about that. Saved me in a couple of my leagues. Rashad Bateman. So thank you, sir. And defensively, Myles Garrett. I mean,
easy.
Tackles, 3 solos, strip sack, fumble returned for a touchdown, 15 yards. Cleveland overall was just defensively great in this game. You can see Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, Takkarist McKinley, all having sacks past, quarterback hits for Clowney and McKinley. So
even the defensive backs for Cleveland too had a good game. You see Delpit and Hill up there, 11 tackles also for Delpit and a quarterback hit, and then Hill 7 tackles, 5 solos, and 3 tackles for loss. So even the defensive backs getting in the backfield.
Yeah.
But Myles Garrett is the favorite at this point, right? For a defensive player there.
Yes, it's Myles Garrett, TJ Watt is second, and now it irks me to say this, Michael Parsons is now third. We'll talk about his game soon. So stupid. Ravens covered +3 over 44. Yeah, I was kind of scared. I thought Tucker was going to hit one at the end.
I was hoping.
They needed one more first down
to
get in range, and they couldn't get it. So, all right, Titans blanking the Jags 20-0. Titans are now 9-4. Jags getting set up for their loser takes number 2 overall game this coming weekend. But yeah, what a day for Trevor Lawrence. 4 picks. Dang, why did I not bet Trevor Lawrence to lead the league in interceptions at the beginning of the year, man? I should have known.
Because nobody expected him to be this bad. I mean, yeah, he's a rookie and yeah, he's on Jacksonville, but based on how he's played his entire career before getting to Jacksonville, nobody expected him to be this bad.
Yeah. This game was really weird. I mean, the Jags realistically had chances to win. The Titans only scored 2 touchdowns. Or no, they only scored 1, I think. No, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, 2. Tannehill and Foreman. Yeah, they only scored twice. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Wasn't that hard. They only lost by 3 scores. And, Tannehill didn't have to do much because they were getting set up on short fields all the time. Deontay Foreman, the Tennessee running game wasn't there like it was the last couple of weeks. And yeah, the boring game. I was happy I did not put this one in the quad box on my Sunday ticket on my laptop this weekend because it was between this game and the Saints Jets. And I was like, well, or no, it was this game and the Seahawks Texans. I was like, I'm gonna put the Seahawks Texans in as the last one.
Yeah, I probably would have done that too. But yeah, this one was just boring all around. Obviously, like you said, the Titans, despite winning 20-0, they just looked terrible. But on the flip side, Jacksonville, obviously they got blanked. Obviously, Lawrence threw 4 interceptions. But James Robinson, 6 carries for 4 yards. That's one of the worst performances in all of football this year, I think.
Could be. Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I lost in our keepers league, but he's one of them. Also, just switching to the defense for a second, I didn't realize that Buster Screen is now a Tennessee Titan. I don't remember that happening.
Well, they need all the defensive back help that they can get, and they just keep picking people up. So
yeah, well, Screen is definitely not the answer.
He had a good game though. He had a pick.
It's not hard to get one off of Trevor Lawrence though.
Yeah,
I say that, and then he's going to light up the Jets in 2 weeks.
Defensively though, I'm going with Jacksonville. Damian Wilson, 10 tackles, 6 hauls, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a QB hit.
I like
it. Titans covered -8.5, under 44.5. That's funny. I did not realize that I forgot to capitalize the J on the script. That makes sense. Because the Jaguars do not deserve a capital J. Chiefs obliterating the Raiders in Kansas City, 48-9. I don't know. I don't remember the exact numbers, but the Chiefs have put up 40 points plus points in both their games against the Raiders, and they've outscored them like 102 or something like that, 108 or 2, like 30 or something like that in their 2 games this year. But yeah, Mahomes, again, it's not that great of a stat line for Mahomes, but they were able to run the ball. What else happened in this game? I don't really know. I kind of tuned out once they got up like 28-0.
It's 89-23 was the total between the 2 games.
There you go. So, but yeah, it was funny because the Chiefs were pissed off. The Raiders moved their pregame huddle to midfield on the Chiefs logo, and you can't do that and expect to win.
Nope.
So that's kind of how this game started. And interestingly enough, Derek Gore ended up being like Chiefs leading rusher because of his 51-yard rushing touchdown in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I mean, they had Mike Hughes had a defensive touchdown. They picked off Carr, and they didn't. Yeah, they picked off Carr once, made him fumble once. The Raiders had 4 fumbles. Carr, Zay Jones, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs all fumbled the ball. So 5 turnovers for the Raiders. I think it was 5-0. Yeah. 5-0. The turnovers for Vegas. Definitely not with that. So.
But what a turnaround that this season has been for the Raiders. they started off the season, 3-0, right?
I think so.
And now they're 6-7. So they've been 3-7 in their last 10 games. Wow. And they've had so much turmoil between the head coach and then the stuff that happened with Henry Ruggs and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, there's a few teams in the NFL that start off the season real hot and now they're fighting for the playoffs right now.
Well, yeah, I forgot. I was going to mention that with the Panthers too. Panthers are 2-8.
Yep.
Since their 3-0 start, so that's cool.
And the Bills are right in that category too. I don't know their exact record, but they had a hot start to the season, and now they're right now outside looking in.
How about Josh Gordon in this game? His first touchdown as a Chief.
I was gonna say he actually got some action. I feel like that's the first I've heard his name in a Chiefs uniform since he signed with them.
Well, he had a reception his first game with them for like 3 yards. But yeah, it was a good game. It was good to see Josh Gordon back in the end zone. Again, I didn't watch this game. Once it got to 21 or whatever, 28-0, I just decided not to follow it because it was boring and the Chiefs were killing them. So started out 35-0, 35-3 at halftime, which was cool. Raiders scored their only touchdown in the third quarter, which thank you, Derek Carr, for throwing a touchdown. Another one to Hunter Renfrow, who had a monster game. 13 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. It hurt when he fumbled the ball, but that's okay. He did enough. PPR monster. So and Darrell Williams scored again. I'm happy that happened. You know, I've been carrying water for one of my dynasty teams because all my running backs are hurt. Michael Carter, Chris Carson, and Christian McCaffrey all hurt on the same team. That's cool. Carrying the load with Tevin Coleman and Darrell Williams and
you couldn't even use Coleman the last couple of weeks either.
I know. It's a struggle. But I'm still in the playoffs, and I'm still going to make the playoffs because I am good enough at managing my lineup. So somehow I'm getting along with receivers scoring my points for me and tight ends. Because it's this week I started Darrell Williams and Dontrell Hilliard, who got 1.3 points. But and Terry McLaurin got 0, which was great. But it's okay. Jalen Guyton scored 17. Hunter Renfrow scored near 30. And Justin Tucker came in and scored 15 points. So that's cool. Defensively, Mike Hughes, 9 tackles, 8 solos, 23-yard, a fumble return for a touchdown. Chiefs covered -10 over 48. That's crazy. I didn't even know the Chiefs were 10-point favorites.
Nope.
Saints killing your Jets, Chris. 30-9. Zach Wilson, terrible day. Under 50% completion, 202 yards. The good thing is he didn't turn the ball over. As a plus, anyways, if you can see one.
Yeah, well, I was at this game, so I didn't really get to watch the other 1:00 games a lot, but this one, obviously, I was 10 rows from the field, so I saw it up close and personal. And I don't even know what to say about the Jets. The Wilson, yeah, he didn't turn the ball over. But I think I heard somewhere that 10 of his throws or 10 of his incompletions were off-target throws. And a few of them almost led to turnovers because it bounced off the receiver's hands or something and floated in the air. But yeah, that was Zach Wilson did not have a good game. But again, he was down his top 2 receivers and his top 2 running backs. Still missing his starting left tackle. And I'm pretty sure his starting tight end wasn't there either. So pretty much all of his starting offense wasn't even playing in this game. So I can't really blame him, but at the same time, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about him. But yeah, the Jets defense though still looks atrocious, like it has pretty much all season. They can't stop anybody. Especially one of the best running backs in the league there with Alvin Kamara. Another 100-yard rusher for him. And I saw he broke some sort of record or something against the Jets yesterday, but I can't remember what it was.
I couldn't tell you. I was focused on watching the Panthers game in the 1 o'clock windows. So I had the Jets game in my quad box, but was mainly watching the Panthers and the Cowboys Washington game that was on Fox. But yeah, Taysom Hill, another good game running the ball, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Okay, but 44 of those were on the last touchdown.
Heck of a lot better completion percentage in this game even with the bad finger there. So I was disappointed with Taysom Hill though. I switched Big Ben in as my starting quarterback in my law school league on Thursday, and I was very happy with that decision. And then Taysom outscored him by 1 point. I was like, dang, man. That's fine. I'm going to win anyways. So, or I already did win with, I forget who I have tonight. Oh, Cooper Kupp, yeah. But yeah, Alvin Kamara, like I said, 27 carries, 120 yards and a touchdown, 4 receptions, 25 yards. Weirdly enough, leading receivers in this game, Braxton Berrios for the Jets and Nick Vannett, the tight end for the Saints.
Yeah.
Defensively, I'm going with Quan Alexander, 4 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, tackle for loss, and a QB hit. I'm sure you want to go with Mr. Mosley, though.
I would love to, because he was a bright spot on the Jets defense, if there was one. But yeah, that New Orleans defense just was all over the Jets offense. But just a quick side note, because you don't have him on the stat sheet here, but why am I blanking on his name now? The kicker that they just signed, the Jets just signed, Eddie Pinheiro.
Mm-hmm.
He was 3 for 3 on field goal attempts yesterday, and it was the greatest thing ever, because as soon as he made the first one, the entire stadium erupted because the Jets finally might have found a decent kicker for once. And yeah, he was the bright spot of the entire day because he was the only one scoring any points for the Jets.
Yeah. Yeah. Guess that's something you can take out of it anyways. The Saints covered -4.5 under 42. Cowboys beat the Washington football team in Landover, Maryland, 27-20 with their own benches on the sideline, and fulfilling the guarantee of head coach Mike McCarthy that they would win this game. Almost didn't.
Yeah.
Kyle Allen almost brought him the entire way back
Mm-hmm.
after Taylor Heineke got hurt. And Dak didn't help that situation either by throwing a pick 6 in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But I had Washington plus 4.5. It was terrible early. I mean, they were down 24-7 or 24-3. And I was like, bro, this sucks. This really is just a terrible game.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, the game that was on CBS here was the Chiefs game. So I made sure I stuck on Fox with the Cowboys game. And I was happy to watch the end of it. It was really good. 24-0 at halftime. And 24-8 with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. And they almost came the entire way back. The issue was an issue of the football team not covering was that Zerline hit a 29-yard field goal with 1.5 to go in the third quarter. Cowboys got to get this Zeke thing figured out. Tony Pollard didn't play in this game because he has a completely torn plantar fascia. But I need Zeke in the fantasy playoffs, Dallas. I hate you, but I need Ezekiel Elliott. And Corey Clement got way too many carries in this game, which made me mad. Antonio Gibson didn't help me in my dynasty league that I have him in.
Nope.
So I don't know. But yeah, this was absolutely terrible. Taylor Heineke started like 2 for 13 passing. It was atrocious, absolutely horrible. And the biggest issue was that he didn't have any time. I mean, the Dallas pass rush was ridiculous. They only had 5 sacks, but they had 8 pass deflections and 9 quarterback hits on the day to go along with 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and a pick. So, yeah, Dallas, I think they're going to win the division now. This was a big one. Washington, if they would have won, they would have been within 1 game. It would have been game on in the NFC East with that would have put Washington within 1 game, the Eagles within 2 games. So that's one thing that is good for the Eagles anyways. They are on the bye, and it pulled Washington back to them, which was a plus. Many of the other NFC teams didn't help them either, with the Saints, Falcons, and 49ers all winning.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vikings as well on Thursday. So, but it's not bad. It's not bad. The Eagles are still in position. They're still tied for that 6 or for the 7 seed. So,
yeah, according to the ESPN app, they're right now the 9 seed. So
they have the best chance of getting the 7 seed when you look at FPI predictions.
Yeah,
they have a 34% chance of making the playoffs, which is the best of the 6 to 7 teams.
Yeah, I believe it.
Because they have the easiest schedule, I think, down the stretch.
Well, they got both games against Washington still, right?
Yeah, and they have another game against the Giants. It's all divisional games, the last 4. 2 Washington, 1 Giants, 1 Cowboys. And the Week 18 game could be big if the Cowboys already have the division and are set in place and where they are in the playoffs. that game could possibly get the Eagles into the playoffs if Dallas rests all their people. I'm just saying.
Or Dallas has a complete collapse in the last 3 weeks, and then that game matters for both teams.
The Eagles win the damn division on week 18.
Mm-hmm.
Highly doubt it. Because I think the Cowboys have like a 94% chance of winning the division. Especially because come on, they play the Giants this week.
Mm-hmm.
And
is
then
this a win in their in scenario for them?
they didn't put out week 15 playoff scenarios yet. I'll probably get that for the Friday show, like I had this past week. It's close. Because they are 3 games up on Washington. But I think if Washington wins, then they win. I don't think they would clinch it yet. Because they still have to play Washington one more time.
Yeah.
They have the Giants, Washington, Cardinals, and the Eagles. So Cardinals could help us out. Anyways.
If it still matters at that point.
I'm sure it will for the number 1 seed.
Oh, for the number 1 seed, but I meant for the division.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying the Cardinals are definitely going to play all their players because I'm sure the Packers and them will be fighting it out as well as the Bucks. The Bucks are still 1 game back for that number 1 seed as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this game, who you want defensively, you can take a lot of.
I like Randy Gregory there at the bottom because he filled out the stat sheet, and I love when defensive linemen get an interception.
Was a really athletic play. People say the defensive player of the game here is Micah Parsons. But you know me, I like defensive touchdowns. So Cole Holcomb for Washington, the leading tackler in the game, 8 tackles, 3 solos, a pass deflection, a 31-yard pick 6. It's weird. You usually don't see the leading tackler of the game under 10 tackles, but in this case it was. And then you also had Dorrance Armstrong, 6 tackles, 5 solos, and a 37-yard fumble return for a touchdown, who was the strip sack from Micah Parsons on Taylor Heineke. That's how that happened. I'll also mention Landon Collins had a fantastic game. 5 tackles, all of them solo, 2 sacks, tackle floss, pass flexion, QB hit, and a pick. Dak threw it right to him. That was kind of funny. But Cowboys covered -6.5 by a half and under 48 by 1. Seahawks, they're back. They played the Texans, but they're back. They're on a 2-game win streak, and the Seahawks are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, man.
They're not winning out.
They are only 1 game out of the playoffs right now. You cannot count Russell Wilson out. I'm just saying. They've scored 30 points, 30-plus in the last 2 games each. Did they score 30 against San Fran? I can't remember. Yeah, 30 and 33 the last 2 weeks. I'm just saying.
But saying that they're 1 game out of the playoffs is very misleading because there's still like 6 teams ahead of them.
True. They're even behind the Panthers at 5-8. But I'm just saying, I would not count Russell Wilson out yet, considering that they're right there. There's 4 games left.
Hold. I just know that currently they would be picking 9th overall, which means the Jets are picking 9th overall. So I'm hoping it stays in the top 10.
When the Seahawks win out and make the playoffs at 9-8, that's going to be hilarious.
That would be the Jets' luck too.
I highly doubt they'll do that though, considering their schedule. Rams, so they're more than likely going to end up going 2-2. They have the Rams, Bears, Lions, and the Cardinals.
I think only one of those games is a definite win, being the Lions game.
Oh, they're going to beat the Bears, dude. Come on.
No, I didn't say they won't, but I'm just saying it won't be as easy of a game, that's not as much of a lock as the Lions game.
It's also in Seattle, so it could snow. I mean, it could snow in Chicago too, but I'm just Seattle's more north than Chicago is. But Davis Mills actually had a good game. His first game back as a starter, 331 touchdown, no turnovers. Again, it's the defense was terrible. And they let Rashad Penny run all over him. 16 carries, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. I was mad. I started Alex Collins over Penn because I thought he would be the lead back, and it was Penny, so that's cool. He's going to be the number 1 waiver wire target for everyone this week. I don't have any fab left to claim him, so that's cool. This was one of those weird Tyler Lockett breakout games that he has every 6 games. 5 receptions, 142 yards, and a touchdown. And then Brandon Cooks. I mean, if you're looking for a bright spot on the Texans, it's definitely Brandon Cooks. He's having a monster season because he's the only target that they have.
He's the only good player on the Texans right now.
8 receptions, 101 yards off 11 targets there. And I was happy though. Rookie tight end Brevin Jordan caught a touchdown. Really like him. We talked about him at the draft. And yeah, defensively, not a lot of stats. So I'm going with the guy with only 1 tackle, Darrell Taylor. 1 tackle, 1 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle loss, and 2 QB hits.
But I mean, yeah, that filled out the stat sheet. But Bobby Wagner being in 15 tackles there, I like that.
When does Bobby Wagner not get over 10 tackles in a game?
Well, exactly.
Seahawks covered -9.5 over 41. And it was a good week for the Lions. And then they had to play another team.
This was possibly the worst team they could have played this week because of what happened to former Broncos receiver Demaryius Thomas.
Right. Yeah, they honored DT pregame, which was really nice. And also, I gotta say, this was one of the games I was watching on Sunday Ticket, and Justin Simmons, when he picked off Jared Goff and took the ball over and slammed it down on the 88 logo, was very special. But yeah, the running game. That's all this game was for the Broncos, man. Melvin Gordon got injured early, and I was like, bro, come on. They announced that on Twitter, and it was like right after the first drive. I was like, bro, the game just started. How is he already hurt? Luckily, he was okay, came back, had a monstrous day, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Both running backs scored 2 touchdowns for the Broncos, which I was happy with. In fantasy, Javonte Williams having a monster couple weeks in fantasy football right now. So the one thing I was mad about in fantasy, the stupid Lions running back rotation. I started Godwin Igwebuike because I thought he was going to be the guy, and Craig Reynolds comes off the practice squad and friggin' gets all the carries. I was like, are you kidding me? 7.5 yards per carry too is nice average.
Yeah, I love to see that. But stat lines like that though always make me wonder, like, how long was the big play that he must have had?
$35 yards.
Because that was almost half of his yards on one play.
Stop tearing him down, Chris. It was his first game.
Well, good for him, but still.
One bright spot that the Lions do have, Amon-Ra St. Brown has been a really good find for them in the second round this year. 8 receptions, 73 yards off 12 targets. And defensively, dude, Draymond Jones, holy crap. 3 tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles lost, pass deflects, and 2 QB hits.
Yeah, I like it.
Josh Woods had 10 solo tackles for you.
Yeah. Yeah, but in a losing effort. So
Broncos covered minus 12.5. Dude, this thing jumped 5 points from the opening line of 7.5. 5 freaking points. That's ridiculous. Because they said everyone was out. You know, Swift was out with his injury. Williams got on the COVID list. Hawkinson was out with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember who else was out, but it was ridiculous. Over 42 in this game. Another blowout. Chargers rolling over the Giants 37-21 in LA. Justin Herbert, what a game. Everyone was blowing up about his throw to Jalen Guyton.
Mm-hmm.
Monster, what was it, 59-yard bomb or something like that?
Something like that.
And I was loving it every single minute on my fantasy team. Oh, I was right on the dot. 59. Look at that. I knew I remembered that number. But yeah, 3 touchdowns, 275, 74% completion. I was mad though, because I had the Chargers defense in, I think I only had them in one daily fantasy play. I was like, bro, come on. Why did you have to give up points late? They gave up 2 touchdowns late to freaking Mike Glennon.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir here because I believe I started the Chargers in our Dynasty League against you. And, I mean, they still ended up with 5 points. But I should have went with the Saints. I mean, they only got me 6 points, so it didn't matter that much, but still.
Not much running game for either team. Your boy Eckler got injured. I was thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon did have almost 100 scrimmage yards and 1 touchdown. Rashad Penny's brother Elijah, both the Penny brothers scored a touchdown this week. Fullback for the Giants. And Jalen Guyton, like I said, man, scored 17 fantasy points this week. Thankfully, he had that 59-yard touchdown because otherwise it was very annoying that Josh Palmer got 7 targets and Guyton only got 3. I was very disappointed with Jalen Guyton's target share in this game because Mike Williams was out, Keenan Allen was out. Mike Williams played. I
think he did, but he didn't make much of an impact.
Yeah. Yeah, because they announced pregame Mike Williams, Chris Harris Jr. both playing because they had enough negative COVID tests within however many days they needed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Defensively, a lot of guys pick from here. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna go with the man, the myth, the legend, Joey Bosa. 1 tackle, 1 solo, 1 sack, and 4 QB hits on Mike Glennon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I mean, you gotta also look at the cornerback Michael Davis. He had 4 pass deflections on top of the 3 tackles and a tackle for loss as well. So he was definitely doing his job.
Let's see. Chargers covered -9 over 43.5. What a game these last 2 afternoon games were yesterday. Niners in overtime, 26-23 over the Bengals. I was so mad, man. I had Bengals money line. And I was like, bro, come on. They came all the way back. The same thing in both games. The teams come all the way back just to lose in overtime. I was disappointed also with the Bengals play calling on their overtime drive. You know, they had an incompletion, I think it was on first down when they were in field goal range. Yeah. So 1st and 10 from the San Fran 26-yard line. They run Joe Mixon for 4 yards. So 2nd and 6, 2nd and medium. You're good. Joe Mixon for 3 yards on 2nd and 6. So 3rd and 3, and you throw the ball, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But Burrow's sacked for 4 yards. I would have rather had him throw it on 2nd down than run it twice just because you're in field goal range. It makes no sense to me. You're the first team with the ball. You should be throwing the ball more. Even though they were running, you can run your normal playbook because you have enough time. But I didn't like the play calling on the last series that they had before they kicked the field goal. And then all Jimmy G does is just drive down the field easily. I mean, there was almost no resistance from the Bengals. I mean, they had 7 plays, 75-yard touchdown drive. Garoppolo to Kittle for 8 yards. Then they had a false start on Kittle. So 2nd and 7. Juwan Jennings for 25 yards. George Kittle, 21 yards. Incompletion. 3 yards to Jermichael Hasty. Deebo Samuel for 2 yards. And then 3rd and 5, they hit Kittle for 9 yards. And then Brandon Ayuk, 12-yard touchdown reception to win it. On a terrible defensive play. I mean, the kid was wide open on the play action, which made no sense. I have no idea why the Bengals defense bit on the play action, considering they didn't run it the entire drive. They didn't run it once the entire drive, and they bit hard on the play action. So I had no words for the defensive play there on the game-winning play. But yeah, Burrow, I mean, great effort. 348, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. And Kittle, just a monster day, 13 receptions, 151 yards, and a touchdown off 15 targets. T. Higgins, he has become a prominent figure in this Bengals offense as of late. 5 receptions, 114 yards on 7 targets, but he's not scoring touchdowns. To Mark Chase, that's what he does. 5 receptions, 77 yards, 2 scores off 8 targets. And his first touchdown was crazy good, keeping his toe in back of the end zone, but his heel up so he wouldn't step out of bounds and get an illegal touching call, and caught the touchdown with his hands, let alone not his body like a lot of receivers do. He was out here catching it. So really great touchdown on his first one in this game, but wasn't enough. Bengals defense couldn't hold them like they did the entire second half pretty much. And defensively, I talked about Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa in this game. 3 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. The Bosa boys killing it right now. Niners covered -2.5, over under 49 pushed. All right, the other overtime game, Bucks win it at home 33-27 in OT. God, I was rooting for the Bills so badly. And again, Josh Allen did all he could to bring them back, and they went 3 and out on their first drive, which is BS, by the way. I don't know if you watched the game.
Yeah, I did.
No call on Stephon Diggs. I don't understand how they didn't call that. I mean, he pulled his jersey.
Yeah, that one should have been called.
And then they call one on the Bills defense, and I'm like, are you kidding me? They didn't call it on Diggs, but they called it on the Bills defense. Like, seriously? So I thought for a lot of this game, it was terrible officiating. And I know there's a lot of people on social media that feel the same way.
Yeah. No, it was funny though, because like this game, the Buccaneers were up by so much at one point, and then the Bills stormed back, and then as soon as the Buccaneers got it in overtime, it was game over. Like it was almost as if Brady was like, "Okay, I'm tired of blowing this team out. Let's let them get in it, and then just toy with them, and then just end it in overtime," which is exactly what he did.
Yeah, this was 24-3 at halftime. Bills were terrible, absolutely terrible.
And Brady became the first quarterback to get to 700 touchdowns as well.
Yeah, regular season and postseason combined. He also broke the Drew Brees' completions record in this game as well. One other thing that made me mad about the Bills is that they were forced to kick the field goal. It ended up being a 25-yard field goal with 22 seconds left. I really didn't like the play calling there either in that last series of regulation for Buffalo. No huddle, 40 seconds left. First down, incomplete to Dawson Knox. Second down, Josh Allen runs 8 yards, takes off 5 seconds. Or the first play took off 5 seconds. This play takes 7 seconds. So 3rd and 2, and I believe that is when they ran the pick play that they threw incomplete on or something. I don't remember. But yeah, I didn't like the pick play call there anyways on 3rd and 2. If you're going to do it on 2nd down. But I thought 3rd and 2, even without any timeouts, I thought Allen running the ball was still an option considering you're at the 7-yard line. That's 28 seconds that I think even if you run Allen, you can still have enough time to get up and spike it and have like 2 plays into the end zone or 1 play into the end zone and then kick the field goal. That's just me. Again, I'm a pretty aggressive coach, so. But yeah, Allen 100-yard rushing performance in this one. How about Brady running the ball though? He looked nimble. He ran a couple times. He ran for a first down that one time, like 10 yards. I was like, dang. And he juked out a defender too.
Yeah, time seems to be going in reverse for Brady.
I was like, dang, Brady's got wheels. Yeah, how many times do you see Brady carry the ball 7 times in a game? that doesn't include kneel downs.
Yeah, I don't know if he's ever done it.
Which he only kneeled the ball 1 time in this game, or twice. He kneeled it twice. So 5 carries for 18 yards and a touchdown. That was the first time that Brady ever had ran for 3 first downs in a quarter, though. He ran for 3 first downs in the first quarter. But yeah, Lenny, playoff Lenny, Lombardi Lenny, whatever you call him, 19 carries, 113 yards, most of that coming off his 47-yard touchdown run. And Singletary used sparingly, but he did run 52 yards. Good average there. Chris Godwin, 10 for 105, 15 targets for Godwin. Evans scored another one. Diggs had 13 targets. Beasley with 11. The tight ends were doing their tight end thing. And how about Perriman in overtime? His first catch of the game. I think they said it was the first catch. No, it wasn't his first catch back with the Bucs, I don't think.
I don't know.
But only his second target of the game, first catch of the game, 58-yard game-winning touchdown. And defensively, I'm going with I'm going with Shaq Barrett. 3 tackles, 2 solos, 1.5 sacks, tackle for loss, and 5 hits on Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with either one, but I mean, obviously the most important part of a defender's job is getting to the quarterback, at least in their position. And that's exactly what he did.
Bucks covered -3 over 53. Sunday Night Football, Packers with a little bit of a scare early on, 27-21 at halftime for Chicago. And Aaron Rodgers said, I actually do own the Bears. Came out on fire in the second half. 341, 4 touchdowns, 78% completion. And just, he does actually own the Chicago Bears. This is true. I was really happy with this game. It allowed me to be close, get close enough, because I had Aaron Rodgers and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who, again, just like kind of like Jalen Guyton, underperformed my expectations, did MVS. With Randall Cobb out, I thought MVS was, because he had like 19 targets the last 2 games combined. And in this game, he doesn't get anything. He has like 5 targets and only caught 3 of them, I think.
No, the other guys, though, Adams continuing to be Adams and Lazard picking up some of the slack left by Cobb there. But yeah, I mean, Adams is on my keepers league team, and he was about the only player on my team that actually did anything for me this weekend.
Yeah.
Also, that just flipping to the Bears now, that trade of for Jakeem Grant seems very good for the Bears right now. Doing what they traded for him to do.
Yeah, it was crazy. He was the only one keeping him in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their defense was early too. I was disappointed. I had Devontae Adams' first touchdown scorer, who usually, when the Packers are playing on Sunday night or Monday night, first touchdown Devontae Adams is usually the easiest money you'll ever make.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bears defense held up very well in the first half, especially the first quarter. And Jakeem Grant was like plus 3,800. It was ridiculous. Like 2 people that bet him. The Packers were able to shut down the running game. You notice Aaron Jones isn't the leading rusher for the Packers. That's because once they got up, the Packers, Aaron Jones doesn't carry the ball whenever they're up very much.
Yep.
And it's just they pound it with A.J. Dillon to keep. I don't know if it's to keep Aaron Jones fresh or if it's because they know A.J. Dillon's a bigger guy and he's going to hurt defenders more than Aaron Jones is. But
a little bit of both, I suppose.
Justin Fields, 2 picks and a fumble. The one, how about Rasul Douglas? He was on the Cardinals practice squad about a month ago, picked up by Brian Gutekunst and the Packers, starts against his former team, has the game-sealing interception in that game, and then, they had their bye, but he now has back-to-back games with pick sixes. It's crazy production coming over to Green Bay, and he's on fire. He almost had 2 pick sixes in this game because he had one of his 2 pass deflections. He stepped in front of Allen Robinson and almost got another one. But yeah, the one that he had was just terrible by Justin Fields. I mean, you can't stare down a receiver outside the numbers and expect to be able to throw the ball and not get picked off. So, yeah, that was a story. Like you mentioned, Jakeem Grant Sr., 46-yard receiving touchdown, 97-yard punt return touchdown, the longest punt return in Bears history.
Which I was surprised to hear.
I
mean, I know 97 is a lot to get a full thing, but all those years with Devin Hester, and he never ran one back from the end zone.
Not on a punt.
I know, but still.
I mean, you're taught nowadays if it inside the 10-yard line, you let it go.
Yeah, that's true.
But he made it work. Devontae Adams, 10 for 121, 2 touchdowns, 13 targets there. And defensively, I already mentioned Douglas, but also Preston Smith was dominant. 4 tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, tackle for loss, 3 QB hits. Robert Quinn had a nice game for the Bears, their only defensive player on here. He's been racking sacks up left and right recently. So
you can't really go wrong with any of them.
Yeah. Packers covered -11.5 over 43. Easily. Packers by themselves.
Yep.
All right. Let's get to NCAA news here. A little bit of news. It's award season for the NCAA. So we had the Heisman Trophy ceremony on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, stupid Alabama quarterback Bryce Young won the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been Kenny Pickett. I think Pickett didn't even finish second. I think Aiden Hutchinson finished second. But
I don't know.
Not over.
But I'm not saying that Bryce Young didn't deserve the Heisman, but I do think that there were others that probably deserved it more. Pickett being one of the top candidates for that.
Yeah. What was crazy is I saw on Twitter, Will Anderson, linebacker for Alabama, had the third most first place votes and wasn't even at the ceremony. But anyways, yeah, Young wins the Heisman, first Alabama quarterback ever to win the Heisman.
That's crazy to me with all the good teams over the years under Nick Saban.
But they've never really had quarterbacks until now. Tua,
even
Young is about it. Mac Jones.
I was going to say Mac Jones last year too. But I don't know.
It was always they would run the ball and play defense.
Yeah.
With guys like AJ McCarron. And I can't think
Greg
of
McElroy back in the day too.
I was gonna say I couldn't think of any other Alabama quarterbacks because they've been non-existent because they didn't have to do much early on in the 2010s with Saban. Mm-hmm. Also announced this weekend the AP All-American team. So we'll run through it real quick. On the first team offense, Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, Michigan State running back Kenneth Walker, Iowa State running back Breece Hall, NC State tackle Ikem Ekwonu, Kentucky tackle Darian Kennard, Texas A&M guard Kenyon Green, Boston College guard Zion Johnson, Iowa center Tyler Linderbaum, Colorado State tight end Trey McBride, which again is, oh my God, so stupid. I have no idea why Brock Bowers, the tight end for Georgia, is not getting any national love. I mean, he's dominant. He's a freaking true freshman, and he has double-digit touchdowns this year. I don't know his exact yardage, but he's probably dang near close to 1,000 yards, I would have to think. Mm-hmm. I know he at least has 700-something, 800-something yards. I have no idea why the freaking media is not giving Brock Bowers his due. Probably because he's a true freshman.
Yeah.
Freaking classists. Wide receivers on the first team: Pittsburgh wide receiver Jordan Addison, Purdue wide receiver David Bell, Alabama wide receiver Jamison Williams. All-purpose was Kansas State's Deuce Vaughn, and then the kicker, Michigan's Jake Moody, the Lou Groza award winner there. Kenneth Walker, the Doak Walker Award winner. Linderbaum, the Remington Award. Trey McBride, the Mackey Award. Jameson Williams, the Biletnikoff Award winner. Yeah. I can't think of any of the other offensive awards. Defensively, first team, D-end Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. Oregon defensive end Kayvon Thibodeau. Georgia defensive tackle Jordan Davis. Texas A&M defensive tackle DeMarvin Leal. Alabama linebacker Will Anderson Jr., Georgia linebacker Nakobe Dean, Utah linebacker Devin Lloyd, Cincinnati corner Ahmad Gardner, Auburn corner Roger McCreary, Oregon safety Verone McKinley III, Baylor safety Jalen Petrie, and then in the defensive back, I guess that's kind of just like a Nichols. I don't know. Just, I guess, general DB slot. Houston corner Marcus Jones, and then the punter San Diego State's Matt Ariza, who is the Ray Guy Award winner.
No real surprises there on the defensive picks, especially on the defensive line and linebacker positions.
Yeah, I would say the defensive awards, but I always get confused on which ones go to which guys. Like the Nagurski and the what's the other one? I see. I can't even remember defensive awards. There's Nagurski, and then there's another one that is like both defensive player of the year, but they're like, I don't know. I always get it confused because they're kind of the same thing. Second team offense: Pittsburgh quarterback Kenny Pickett, Syracuse running back Sean Tucker, Missouri running back Tyler Beatty. Alabama offensive tackle Evan Neal, Ohio State tackle Nicholas Petit-Frere, Ohio State guard Thayer Munford, San Diego State guard William Dunkel, Boston College center Alec Lindstrom, Florida tight end Brock Bowers. See, they give him second team. Like, come on. Because McBride won the friggin' Mackey, and Bowers. The thing is, Bowers didn't even have a chance to win the Mackey because he wasn't even a finalist. Ohio State wide receiver Chris Olave, Ohio State wide receiver Garrett Wilson, Western Kentucky wide receiver Jarrett Stearns, and the all-purpose guy here, Georgia Tech's Jahmyr Gibbs, and the kicker, Ohio State, Noah Ruggles. Any concerns with the second team offense?
Not other than I feel like a few of those should have been first teamers, but
again, I think it's because the first team, they put all the award winners on the first team.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, the name that stuck out the most to me, I think, was Chris Olave.
Yeah, but he really didn't have the season we all thought he was gonna have.
Yeah, that's true.
And Addison with Pickett and David Bell with Purdue is very, very good. It's just Purdue doesn't get a lot of national attention. Second team defense, Florida State DN Jermaine Johnson, San Diego State DN Cameron Thomas, Georgia D tackle Devontae Wyatt, Ohio State D tackle Haskell Garrett, Oklahoma State linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez, Wisconsin linebacker Leo Chenal, Michigan linebacker David Ojabo, Cincinnati corner Kobe Bryant, ECU corner Jaquan McMillian, Penn State safety Jaquan Brisker, Notre Dame safety Kyle Hamilton, Nebraska defensive back JoJo Doman, and Rutgers punter Adam Korsak. Interesting. Kyle Hamilton is a second team defense. But the first team of Jalen Petrie and Verone McKinley, very deserving, I think. And then third team offense, Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud, Michigan running back Hassan Haskins, interesting third team, not second. UTSA running back Sincere McCormick, he made it. Baylor tackle Connor Galvin, Louisiana tackle Max Mitchell, USC guard Andrew Voorhees, Wisconsin guard Josh Seltzner, Missouri center Michael Mayetti, Notre Dame tight end Michael Mayer, USC wide receiver Drake London, Ohio State wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba, Penn State wide receiver Jahan Dotson. All-purpose was Utah State wide receiver Devin Tompkins, and the kicker was Iowa's Caleb Shudak. And then finally, third-team defense, Iowa State D-end Will McDonald IV, Ole Miss D-end Sam Williams, Pittsburgh D-tackle Kalijah Cansey, Purdue D-tackle George Karlaftis, Wyoming linebacker Chad Muma, Oklahoma linebacker Nick Benito, Army linebacker Andre Carter II, Iowa corner Riley Moss, Washington corner Trent McDuffie, Alabama safety Jordan Battle, Georgia safety Lewis Seen, and Oklahoma State defensive back Colby Harvell Peel, and punter was Penn State's Jordan Stout. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too many qualms about it. It's just hard to think about all the players. So it's like I can't really think of who would make it over many of these guys.
Yeah.
Especially with three teams. You do it. It feels like, I'm sure when the votes are in, it's like it feels like you have a lot of spots. Because you have 12. Or no, you have 14 on offense. And 13 on defense for each team. So.
Yeah.
You feel like you have a lot of spots, but then you look and it's like, well, you have 130 FBS teams to pick guys from. So. Anyways, some transfer portal stuff. Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker, he has announced that he is returning for 2022, another quarterback returning, just like Sean Clifford announced last week for Penn State. Ohio State quarterback Quinn Ewers announced he has found his new home in the transfer portal. It is Texas. Heading to Texas to be with head coach Steve Sarkisian down there. Fight against Casey Thompson for this starting quarterback spot.
That'll be an interesting story to follow next year.
And then a big name quarterback is in the transfer portal. Auburn quarterback Bo Nix is transferring as a grad transfer there. 3-year starter for Auburn. We'll look to see where he goes. You know what is intriguing? USC. Bo Nix came into this year sort of in the conversation for the draft, and he didn't really do much to help his stock. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they already have a quarterback out there at USC with Keaton Slovis, but in my mind, I think USC would be very attractive with QB whisperer Lincoln Riley. But anyways, I digress. And then lastly, mentioned Penn State, Sean Clifford. But Penn State has a new defensive coordinator, their replacement for Brent Pry, who took the Virginia Tech head coaching job. It is former Miami head coach Manny Diaz. He will come to Happy Valley and be the new defensive coordinator this upcoming season, next year. NFL news. The first line is kind of just a general thing. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but the Jags have a situation. I don't know what else to call it. Tensions boiling over between Jags head coach Urban Meyer and his players and staff. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't looked too much into it because I really frankly don't care. But it is a story that people are looking at right now.
No, but I mean, I don't think we've really seen something this bad before, but we've obviously seen very successful college coaches not work out in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Saban being one of the most famous, I think, examples of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the reverse, though. He started in the NFL, then went to Alabama after. But still, I don't know. Something with Urban Meyer. Maybe it's his ego. Maybe he thinks he's just so much better than everybody else because of his resume. But again, college and the NFL are two totally different animals.
Yeah, it was funny. NFL Game Day morning crew on NFL Network was talking, and they had a segment of about their resumes. Because Urban Meyer, reportedly made that remark about that their resumes weren't good enough, and they were losing. Mm-hmm. His staff was a staff of losers, and he was a winner. I mean, I don't know how. What person in their right mind would actually say that to us? The thing is, he built his staff. Like, if they're losers, you brought the losers in. Like, you're the one that looked at their resume. So it's his fault. If he thinks his staff is losers, he's the one that brought them there. Another report that's just a general thing. Once again, this offseason, there is expected to be interest in Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson, and trade rumors running about in league circles. So,
yeah.
They're winning games now, though. So that's why I said I don't know if, anything will happen again.
I mean, I feel like it's very similar to the Deshaun Watson situation, because obviously they're both high-profile quarterbacks, but I feel like the Seahawks are going to ask for too much.
Probably.
And, I mean, certain teams, like, I know one of the teams that he's been linked to is the Saints, and I don't know how they would fit him in with the salary issues that they already have.
Yeah, but he has also been linked to the Chicago Bears. Well, the Bears, Cowboys, Saints, and Raiders were his 4 teams on his list. So the Bears are the easiest one out there to go to.
That's if they want to hit the reset button already, because they just drafted Justin Fields.
True, but they can trade.
I'm not saying that Justin Fields is as good as Russell Wilson, but still.
True, but they can package Justin Fields with picks and send it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You think Russ has, 5 to 7 more years. So it's not like Rodgers where, maybe 3 years at max for Rodgers. So.
And I'm just going based on the teams that are on Wilson's list. The Raiders, I don't think they would go for him either, because the quarterback position is not their problem. Derek Carr is one of the only good things about the Raiders right now.
Everyone always says it's the problem. Every offseason, it's like, bro, when are the Raiders getting rid of Derek Carr? I am not one of those people. I like Derek Carr, but
I think he's like 3rd in the league in passing yards right now.
Yeah.
So he's not the problem.
They don't have a defense, or they kind of have an offensive line, but Max got to get that defense going. All right. Speaking of the Raiders, though, they were just tabbed to host the Super Bowl, their first one in Allegiant Stadium, first one in Vegas. It's going to be Super Bowl 58 in 2024.
Okay.
Big news tonight. The Rams will be without Jalen Ramsey and tight end Tyler Higbee both out because of COVID issues. Higbee's thing is so stupid. The tweet that I have right in front of me from Adam Schefter made me just like want to pull my hair out. For one, because I need 2.12 points in this Dynasty League to win. The only player I had left was Tyler Higbee. And I needed, 2 receptions for 2 yards or 1 reception for 11 yards. And I was like, bro, he can get me 2.12 points. So now there's like no relevant running backs or wide receivers because I just need a flex. Kelsey's in my original tight end slot. And there's no relevant running backs, wide receivers for either the Cardinals or the Rams to pick up right now, which I actually could have, I think. Benjamin was available. I just don't know how many carries he's going to get or receptions. So I went with the guy that's going to replace Higbee and hopefully still get enough targets in Kendall Blanton. So I'm hoping that Blanton gets me two catches for 1 yard or 1 reception for 11 yards. That's all I need.
We'll see.
All I need.
Yeah, I wish I knew about those 2 being out. More specifically, the Jalen Ramsey being out, because as we'll see when we get to the picks, that probably would have influenced my pick.
We have the technological capabilities to change some picks, Chris. So
yeah, well, I personally, when I send that text, for me it's locked in. I don't care what news comes out after that.
Set in stone. But anyways, about that tweet that I was saying about Tyler Higbee. So Schefter put out Rams tight end Tyler Higbee had a positive test, followed by 2 negative tests. So right off the bat, I'm like, how does he have 2 negative tests and he's not allowed to play? How's that? I don't understand how that's not a thing. And then it said if his PCR test overnight comes back negative, then he will come off the reserve COVID list tomorrow. He says, so even though it could be a false positive, Higbee is out tonight. I just don't understand this COVID stuff. So
yeah,
you tested positive. Okay. But you had 2 negative tests after that. It makes no sense that you can't play. So, yeah, I just in a world of hurt if I lose this Dynasty League game. I mean, I'm going to win one of the games. This Dynasty League is one where you play 2 games each week, one against the average of the league and one against the other team. So I already am going to beat the average, I believe. Anyways, I might have checked that just to make sure. But hopefully, like I said, Kendall Blanton, man, hopefully he can get enough points for me. Oh, no, I'm not beating the average. That's cool. And I'm not going to beat the average because with Stafford and Cup playing for some other people, the average is just going to go up. More than likely, anyways. And I'm like 6.5 points behind the average, so that's not going to happen. Unless Blanton scores. If Blanton scores a touchdown, I mean, come on. Give me the red zone targets for Kendall Blanton.
Mm-hmm.
I do need Cooper Kupp, though, to score like 21 in the other Dynasty League on my Fantasy League site, so I need all the targets I can get for Kupp, too. Other COVID issues, the Dolphins. I don't even know if they're going to have any running backs against the Jets this week, Chris, because they just placed Philip Lindsay on the list, and they also, earlier in the week, placed Myles Gaskin and Salvin Ahmed on the list. So, rookie 7th rounder. Why am I blanking on his name? Warren. Something Warren.
Oh, Garrett or no?
Oh no, Garrett Dokes. Garrett Dokes. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Garrett Dokes. Yeah. Cincinnati 7th rounder this year.
Mm-hmm.
I was high on him from their draft, and then we'll see. We'll see if it's him or if I don't think Lindsey's going to be able to play. for sure. Gaskin and Ahmed, I think they said have a chance though. Jets could use all the help they can get though, right?
I was gonna say I still don't think it matters that all those running backs are out. The Jets will find a way to lose.
All right, other COVID issues. This was a big day for COVID. They said that 37 players were put on the COVID list today. So Washington football team placed defensive tackle Jonathan Allen on the list. That's just another lineman, D lineman. They have like 5 or 6 on the COVID list right now. Chargers left tackle Rashawn Slater on the list. Eagles wide receiver Quez Watkins. And then the Vikings running back Alexander Madison. They replaced him with they claimed running back Wayne Gallman off of waivers from Atlanta. So they got somewhat of a replacement there. And then the Giants wide receiver Kadarius Toney and the Chiefs wide receiver Josh Gordon all placed on the COVID list. Interesting. Titans running back Derrick Henry could return for the playoffs and possibly even week 18, he said.
Well, if he were to return for week 18, it better be a win in your in scenario.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he returns for the playoffs though in general, that's crazy.
Yeah, broken foot. I think it was about a month ago or month and a half, something like that.
Yeah, but even if he's not 100% though, I would still take like an 80% Derrick Henry over most of the league anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I was me being me. I was checking out all my leagues just to see if someone had dropped him, just in case. I was gonna, try to scoop him up. Maybe he comes back week 17 for the fantasy championship game. But to no avail because no one was stupid enough to drop him, which I was kind of surprised in
regular leagues,
draft leagues. I was surprised no one dropped him, but everyone's held on to him. I think it's because a lot of leagues nowadays have increased IR spots, so I think most leagues have at least 2 IR spots. I know. I think all the leagues I'm in have 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Which, if you look at my dynasty team, you'll see I have like 3/4 of my team on IR. So.
Oh yeah, me too.
But it's okay. You know why? Because I'm the hottest team in the league on a 9-game win streak after starting 0-5. I just gotta get through 3 rounds of the freaking playoffs that I never do well in. So, other injuries. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, he has a sprained ankle. Head coach John Harbaugh said it's not a high ankle sprain, so he could possibly play this week.
Well, they definitely will need him if they want to keep any hope of the playoffs alive.
Well, they play the Packers this week.
So, again, they're going to really need him if they even have a chance to do anything for the playoffs.
And Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has his own foot issue. He suffered a setback, he said, with his broken left pinky toe, and still not planning to have surgery yet. It is still necessary to have surgery on it in the off season, but he's still hoping that he can continue to rehab every week and just keep playing through it. So he just said he can't have anyone step on it. That's the biggest issue, is if anyone steps on it, then he'd more than likely have to have surgery right away. So just cut it off, Eric. You don't need it. Pinky toe, it's fine.
Yeah.
No surgery, just cut it off. Browns running back Kareem Hunt, he is week to week with an ankle injury, unlikely to play this week because the Browns play on Saturday, so one less day to get ready. So Nick Chubb, 27 carries this weekend coming up.
I'll be perfectly fine with that.
The issue with Nick Chubb is which you do see it when Kareem Hunt gets hurt or goes out and is not in the game. You do see Nick Chubb actually receive the ball more because he has to. They don't have anyone else. Dearness Johnson, though, has sort of picked up Kareem Hunt's share. Not as much as Hunt gets, but I think Dearness Johnson is definitely capable of second back, as we saw against the Broncos on that Thursday night game. Speaking of the Broncos, look at this. I'm just segueing. Like, we're hitting every segue we can today. Broncos running back Melvin Gordon, he has a sprained thumb, but like I kind of mentioned in their game recap, not going to limit him at all. He got hurt, and then he ran for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Falcon safety Eric Harris, he is out for the season. He has a torn pec. Falcons, great times on defense. All they need is injuries. That's cool. And then Bills quarterback Josh Allen, he is day-to-day. He is a foot sprain, so need to watch that as the Bills attempt to keep their playoff hopes alive and division hopes somehow being 2 games back. And then finally, the Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith, he aggravated his ankle injury. He is out this week against the Giants. Give me Azeez Ojulari all day. All right, pick standings for the Monday show. Chris, you got the only win last week because you picked the stupid Patriots on Monday Night Football. Yeah, Mark and I lost on the Bills on Monday night, and then we all lost on the so close comeback of the Steelers. That was, again, I don't want to go on a rant, but again, Pat, you got to catch the ball, bud. I don't care if it's against an all-pro like Harrison Smith, who made a good defensive play. Got to catch the ball. I mean, they still would have had to go for 2 and get it and then go to overtime and win, but just saying. I put a $5 bet on the Steelers at plus 1,700. Would have won me $85 had they come all the way back. Great times.
That would have been a nice chunk of change.
Yeah. But yeah, so Mark is still 1 game back because of that game. And then I am now 3 games back, which is cool because I'm the only one that picks differently from anyone else.
I don't know about this week.
Oh, this week is fun. This week is definitely fun.
Do any of us have the same 2 picks?
Mark does. Or well, Mark has he's on each side, so yes, I'm a flipper. This is true. Once I heard Jalen Ramsey wasn't going to be out there covering DeAndre Hopkins, I was like, nope, no, sir. I am not taking the Rams. I hope the Rams win still. I would like the Rams to win. I need a lot of points in fantasy from Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Kendall Blanton. So, I hope the Rams win. I already lost the standings essentially. We got 4 regular season weeks left, and then we got playoffs for the show. I'm kind of throwing in the towel on the Monday night pick. So being 3 games back, and you and Mark don't lose very often. So
nope.
Yeah, I'm lone wolf in the Cardinals though. Kyler Murray's got a real good shot at winning the MVP this year.
Not with the way Brady's been playing.
Well, I know, but Kyler's probably second, even though people want to put Josh Allen second. But
and Rodgers.
I was looking at that. I was highly thinking of going in on Rodgers MVP because it's at where'd it go? Of course, it's not on here anymore. It was on here earlier. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I think the Jalen Ramsey thing is just too much for the Rams defense to overcome. And the Cardinals killed the Rams in their first game this year in LA. So
I'm just happy to see that Mark is with me on this pick so that when we lose, he doesn't gain a game on me here.
Well, you want to know what his text said?
What?
His text said, "Oh gosh, the Rams COVID list. I didn't pay attention." And I told him, "Yeah, haha, I switched." And he says, "I should have." But if he would have been on here, I would have told him just like I did you. We have the capability to switch the pictures around. This is true. So I'm just saying, Mark's not on here though. He's got to work. Is this? I just want to check to make sure if it is still 2.5.
No, it's 3 for Arizona right now, according to ESPN.
Yeah, 3 now. So half point, not bad. 3 is always a key number, though. You know, you can push a 3, which is nice for the Rams. So
yeah, unfortunately, we're not paying attention to the spread though for this. But
yeah. Over under is 51. If that stayed 51, it is still 51. This is 51.
That'll be a tough one to get to.
I like the over. 2 high-flying offenses. You know what I think is going to be interesting, and I think is the X factor of this game, OBJ.
Yeah, that's true.
He's going to get more involved, and he scored his first Rams touchdown last week, so I think that he's going to be highly involved, especially without Higbee.
Yeah.
OBJ is going to be even more involved than he was.
Wait, what was
Van Jefferson? Van Jefferson, too.
Yeah, same too. What was the line again?
Over-under?
Yeah, the over-under, I mean?
51.
Yeah, it was 57. They scored 57 in the other game, so.
Yeah.
Just over.
Friggin' London. Complaining about the 8-6. I'm not worried about that. I'm good. I'm just saying, I'm sitting back next week, dude. I got 2 buys. One in our redraft league, one in my law school league. I'm the number 1 seed in both. I'm just sitting back and chilling. So this game
missed the playoffs in one, and I'm the last seed in the other. So
this game tonight is interesting. This is the first time this year, 8:15 p.m. like normal, but it's on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Plus. Usually on ESPN, ESPN Plus, but on ABC tonight too, which is weird.
Interesting.
At least that's what the ESPN app tells me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All right, Thursday night football. Both these primetime games during the week this week, massive divisional and overall conference playoff implications. So Chris is
I'm lone wolf in the bolt.
Sticking with his Chargers as the number 1 seed.
No, I've given up the number 1 seed thing with the Chargers, but I do still
only a
believe
game
they win
out.
the division.
Why though? They're game out of the number 1 seed right now.
I know, but just the fact that there's too many other teams going for the number 1 seed, I don't think that they'll. And even if they do win the division, I don't think they'll ultimately get the number 1 seed because they would have to beat Tennessee and New England and whoever the winner of the AFC North will be, which I believe if the Chargers do win the division, it will be as the 3rd seed. So they will beat whoever the AFC North winner is. But anyway, yeah, I just think that these two teams are very similar. The Chargers have such a high-flying offense. It seems to be hit or miss sometimes, but I think that they're starting on a streak here. And yes, the Chiefs are pretty much the same kind of thing. They have a high-flying offense that has now found their groove. And the Chargers did beat them earlier in the season when they were still struggling, but I think the Chargers still have their number, and I still think that they can win. I mean, it's in LA, so they don't have to worry about the noise at Kansas City or whatever else. But yeah, I'm sticking with the Chargers here. I believe in the Bolts. Also, the game is now at -4 instead of -3.5.
Yeah. I like the Chiefs, man. They are streaking right now, coming off of just complete destruction of the Raiders. And they got some rest in the fourth quarter, even for the starters, when Chad Henne and the backups came in the fourth quarter. And it didn't matter because they scored touchdowns too. So, yeah, I just think the Chiefs are rolling. And, yeah, there should be a lot of points in this game. But I think the Chiefs defense is doing what they do every year. Steve Spagnuolo's crew, they are terrible in the beginning of the season. And somewhere around the midpoint, man, they always pick it up. And they've got the defense rolling right now. Tyrann Mathieu, a fantastic pickup at the trade deadline of Melvin Ingram. And Chris Jones is always a factor. I just think the defense for KC is playing too well. That no Eckler, more than likely for the Chargers. So it'll be Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly. I want the running game to offset the passing attack for LA.
Fair.
Over under in this one has gone up by 0.5 point. This one also 51 points. And I'm taking the over again, just like Monday night.
Yeah. I mean, it was under, I think, in the last matchup between the two. But like I said, both teams have kind of found their groove right now with the offenses. So I definitely see this one being a very high scoring game.
It was under by 1 point.
It still was under. Under.
That one was 55 and they scored 54. So
I think that this game gets into the 60s.
I could see that. I think it stays in the 50s, but I think it's high 50s, like 58. 8:20 on Thursday, Fox and NFL Network. All right, next Monday, we'll be back recapping all the week's action. We will be breaking down the bowl games. We got bowl games on Saturday. We got two on, or no, we won't be recapping any bowl games. Never mind. They don't start till Friday. Never mind. We'll be previewing bowl games though. But we'll be recapping the FCS semifinals next Monday. Or no, we will be breaking. I'm thinking about Friday's show. What am I doing right now? It's the end of the semester, you know. So brain's all in a mush right now. Yeah, we will be recapping the first weekend of bowl action for the FBS, as well as the FCS semifinal games. And the Monday night, or we'll be previewing the Monday night matchup between the Vikings and Bears and the Thursday night matchup between the Niners and Titans. I don't know why they keep putting these stupid NFC North games on primetime. I'm just saying. I mean, the Packers-Bears last night was pretty good. Second half wasn't that great, but I don't think Vikings-Bears is going to be that great.
No, it's not going to be.
That's just me. Yeah, but that's the show. I don't know why I went back in there, but that's the show for today. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast. Chris gotta get his game back on there. Been slacking.
Yeah, I know. I'll get back on it. Don't worry.
Post the baby in some FAA gear.
Yeah, I got to get some first. I don't have any baby stuff with that.
But yeah, at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. And you can also check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, wherever you choose to listen. Thank you, Chris.